Hola.
Good afternoon, welcome. When we are steering a company, unless it's very large, we'll be using several hats. Some hats seem to be more comfortable than others. In my particular case, the hat I don't find comfortable is that of the salesperson. Being a salesperson is something that doesn't make me feel comfortable. I'm a little bit stressed. However, last week I was in New York with somebody else who's around here, trying to sell. To sell what? Sell trading platforms. Who to? Web Street firms. Imagine that. I'm a little stressed and I have to sell it in English. And also, the person I'm selling to is like a ninja negotiator, someone who in 10 minutes buys and sells what I can buy and sell in 10 years, if I take into account that my house, my car, the school my children attend. So one of the places I visited was this one. It's a skyscraper on Madison Avenue. They are all skyscrapers belonging to the same company, and it's one of the many buildings that the company owns, one of the largest banks in the world. It's the fifth largest bank in the world in terms of assets, only a few $1 trillion, and it's the third largest company worldwide according to Forbes, and it's listed. And so I arrived with my portfolio. I went through, I cleared the security, and then I had a meeting with a manager on technology for trading in a glass office where you see the tip of the other buildings. And I showed what I had to show. And when I left, I called these guys and said, "Friends, everything went okay?" Generally, when I do this kind of demo, I take three things: my computer, my watch, and my telephone. But the computer I use as something with a browser inside. I don't have strange presentations nor systems. I go and connect to the internet, show whatever I have to show, and that's it, very simply. That's why I am so stressed, probably, because internet may not be operating correctly, and so on. So I called these guys and said, how did it go? I said, well, I came here with two objectives. First, for them to look at the platform and say, wow. Well, they didn't say wow, but they said that the platform was clean and clear, that he liked it. So let's interpret that this is his way of saying wow, and I'll take it as good. And the other objective I had, well, that he was going to buy it. And then what happened? Well, I'm far from selling, but one thing was really good. He said, "I'm going to help you." And in truth, he felt it. I think he was sincere, because something else happened which I liked. During our conversation, both of us had a very similar background. He in New York, I here. We were both scientists, and we had changed to the world of trading and information technology. And we came to a point when there was empathy, and our conversation ran very smoothly, and we were very much at ease. And there was a feeling like, this is good, I will support you, he said. So I was thinking about that. It's so good when with our customers we have empathy. We have this feeling that we are connected. And this is not only good, it's very natural. It is so natural that it is part of our own nature. We have been programmed for that. And in order to understand that, we have to go deep into our brain and neurons. Let me tell you a story. This happened in Padma in 2010. At the time, a group of scientists was working on motor neurons and how they worked. And they had a chimpanzee sitting. He was wired. They were monitoring the shots of the neurons to the brain. And every now and then, they would give him peanuts. And when the monkey got the peanut and took it to its mouth, boom, they marked neurons shot. So the monkey got one peanut, and it went on and on like that. There was a point where the monkey was relaxed, doing nothing, and one of the scientists walked by and stole the peanut from the monkey, and something wonderful happened. In the record of the monkey's brain, it marked as if he had taken it. The neuron was not distinguishing between something the monkey did or somebody else outside did. Whoever did it was marked by that neuron. And this is how they discovered this type of neurons that were called monkey C, monkey B, and then the name was much nicer, and it's called a mirror neurons. And they are connected to giving us the empathy or somebody else's vision. And if you think about this, this is the way in which we learn, by repetition. Monkey do, baby do this, baby do that. And by repeating, we learn many things. And what's more, the development of our culture and our language seems to be closely related to the development of this area in our brain. This type of neuron not only affects our own movements, but also our feelings. Have you ever wondered why we are so fanatic in terms of sports? Well, once you know the rules, it's very easy to place yourself in the place of a player, or frustrations when there's no goal, especially when you get 4 goals against your team. Well, there's a kind of goal or trans empathy. You not only feel what the player who failed feels, but then you seem to understand what's going on. And that's even worse than suffering a goal from the contraries. And this affects our system, and this is the reason that explains why we are so moved when we watch films or abstract things like being moved by a painting or feeling what an artist feels when he conveys that through a song or dance or whatever it is. So if we, as a service area, as software developers, had to have the strong feature, this should be the strong feature, to put ourselves in the place of our clients, feel what they feel, and know where technology is heading to, so that we may do things better and give better products to our clients. This is not just telling the customers what needs to be improved. Henry Ford said, if I had asked my clients what to improve, I would have had horses running faster and not cars. So there is an analysis. Many times you have to place yourself in the place of other people, see how frustrated they are or happy they are in the world they live in, and see how we can improve things thanks to the knowledge about technology that we have. Somehow it's like looking at the world as a tourist arriving in a new city, finding things that are part of the routine for some people who live there, but for a tourist everything is different. People who do things very well like this are called anthropologists. He says that people have, it's not the déjà vu, but the vous-savez. When people see something, they say, I saw this before. But these other people, given a situation that is repeated, look at it as if it were the first time. Tom Kelly was here about a week ago, and one of the best things that Tom Kelly said was, Gabriel Simonet, is he here? Gabriel is a fan. He's a preacher more than a fan. Whatever you want to know about him is he can tell you, and he can tell you what page to read and what chapter to pay attention to, and he has post-its all over the book. He's a preacher. Going back to our topic. What kind of service do we provide? We do technology for the financial area. This is the one that we are developing the most. We do platforms for stock exchange negotiations and trading. And when we place ourselves in their shoes and try to have empathy, we realize that they need good quality information at the right time. And that means giving them two things. On the one hand, platforms that have good user experience, not to give them too much or too many data, also to update their devices or get ready for the devices they might need in the future. If we switch here, Matthias will show you our concept for usability in the web. And those of you who came last year probably find now many features that we already had last year. But we have added a new series of features developed with GeneXus on the web. Okay. So, we are showing how the platform works. This is connected via socket. It uses the socket technology to get data. This is internet. We are waiting for the internet to give us this information. Don't do anything because it will take some time. Here we are. Well, we have new features that have to do with movement of panels. We can expand them or reduce them or close them.
¿No quiere? A mí dale un segundito porque me parece que no hay mucha internet, entonces demora en traer todo.
This internet is a little slow.
Bueno, ahí mirá. Ah, se desconectó de internet, de presentadores. Está, bueno, listo, llegó. Bueno, entonces como ven.
It's here. As you see, we have connection by a web socket, which allows us to have an updated view of the market. We have drag and drop elements to accommodate the screen as we wish. It's very fluid, and the movement allows us to accommodate things according to our likes. It's all on one page. You don't have to use a browser outside this page. It's okay, Matthias, don't worry. We'll carry on with the presentation. So those of you who were here last year probably remembered that we presented the first application that could connect with Google Glass and stock exchanges. And this year we are more focused on development for watches and smartwatches. And we think that the smartwatches are interesting for several reasons. Because recently, the younger people and adolescents were not wearing watches because they had the time, they could read the time on their telephones. So why wear these watches? Now, with a smartwatch, things change. Most of the information that you would look up on a telephone can be found in the smartphone. And the telephone is like a heart in your pocket, and you don't use it that much. So in this war between the watch and the smartphone, the watch is becoming more important. In addition, the watch is what Nicolas called, when he was talking about the cell phones and the smartphones, were beginning an acceptation and an evolution that is something that adapts given certain environmental pressures, and it evolves. And once it is consolidated, new pressures move it somewhere else. When we talk about real life things, for example, swimming bladder, which turns into lungs, or feathers developed for flight in some birds, which means that something was designed for one purpose and then it is being used for another purpose. Like the telephone, the smartwatch are going through these adaptations. And the good thing about this is that we can create applications if we use GeneXus. These are smart device applications, and we will now show you how they work in Android and iOS. Matthias will show you how they work for Android. Let me tell you. This is the app for Android. It tries to give you fragments of information at a given point in time. There are notifications that are shown, organized vertically in the main screen. I have other applications here. We use this type of notification to show the user. For example, a market session is over and what his loss or profit was for that day. We also notify orders that could have come through the web or up mobile, and we let them know. We also send the customer market alerts that are generated when the price of a stock goes up or collapses. This notification may have associated actions from this order execution. I can offer the user a possibility to place a new order. I can also give him an opportunity to cancel that action before it is executed. I also have other actions like this one. I allow them to see complete information. Now this one takes place in the telephone. We have this panel and we see the details of the order. Is that a notification that you received and then you take different steps? Yes, when that event took place. Apart from the notifications, we can interact in a different way with the user by doing full screen applications. For example, the user can also see some information about his investment portfolio. We could have a list of the stocks that he has in the portfolio, whether this is leading to profit or loss, and this is done on real time. To update this on real time, we use WebSockets, which is the same protocol used by the GeneXus web notifications, and we use them for our site. And all the data that you see on the watch are provided by services generated by GeneXus. Another interesting thing that I want to mention is that the watch itself does not consume the REST services. It is the telephone in my pocket that consumes that data. And through message delivery mechanisms and synchronization of data, the watch can read the data and show it on the screen. In principle, the watch will use Bluetooth to communicate with the telephone. But some telephones include Wi-Fi, and that's an advantage because you could leave the telephone at home or go away from the Bluetooth and you will receive notifications all the same. You will be able to check all this information in real time. That's what I had to share with you. And we also have information about the Apple smartwatch or the Apple Watch. Well, Victor, I'll show you the portfolio application apart from other 3 visible faces for this application. As Fabian said, we have complications, which appears in the beginning when you turn it on. You get quick information, relevant information for different applications. In the middle, the weather in Montevideo, or our complication, which is that green O, which indicates that the market is open. It means open. What we wanted to do was show the real value of the portfolio on real time. But Apple is limited in the number of daily updates in terms of these. So we would not be able to show you the real value all the time, so we decided not to do it. But on this screen, Victor, what is important is the time travel. What is that? Time travel is not a trip, literally. This is something that allows you, by moving the crown of the clock, you can move time forward or backward and look at the complications and see what kind of information they would provide, for example, at 5 p.m., the time the market closes. Or the same in terms of the weather. Then I will show you notifications. You just move the screen from top down and you see the notifications that are similar to the ones Matthias showed. The difference with his cards is that once you see them, you can apply actions. You can say, see portfolio, or dismiss it. But once you dismiss them, you saw them, they disappear. They no longer are here. While in the case of the cards, they stay. Then you have the glance. They show you more information or description for different applications. The climate gives more details. And this is the one we produced, which is called Portfolio, with a percentage in real time. There is an internet connection. I think it should move if it varies. This is not like the complications. And finally, from the complication, if that is the only action you have, you can go to the application in the smartwatch, or by pressing here, you see all the applications available, and you can get closer and enter the application. This shows what Matthias showed with Android, which is a list with different shares in the portfolio. These are stock and shares. And the values, you can see them all. And I want to highlight that we are using only GeneXus services on real time, and we are updating all the information. And for those of you who were present in Fabian's presentation, he said that these applications can be based on pages. You move it to the left or right, and you see different pieces of information. This is more hierarchical because you have a list and you press here, for example, and this will lead to another page with information on that element. Here you can see Apple and the portfolio, how many stocks, how much money invested, apart from specific information on Apple's market. And finally, I would like to show you the Force Touch, which is pressing the screen strongly, and you have actions that are contextual. In this case, to buy or sell stocks. And this will go straight to your telephone application. That's it. Great. So this is the technology we had to share with you. We are not afraid of the skyscrapers at the time we deliver technology to our customers. And the message of my presentation is put yourself in your client's shoes, feel empathy, feel as they feel so as to deliver the best products to them. It would be very mean from my part to give you only this message. In fact, I do believe we have to have empathy in life as a whole. Today's society is very individualistic, and to feel empathy is a value, even when we have to convince somebody else that he or she is wrong. It's good to find this perception and try to tread this path. And sometimes we are the ones who were mistaken. So it's good. Let's be more have more empathy with other people, give them the best products, but also let us be the best version of ourselves we can. In this way, our society will be enhanced. So you're welcome. We need you to share these products in your countries or elsewhere. If you are developers and would like to be part of our team, welcome. And this is where you will find us. Thank you for your attention.